Okay everyone, welcome to today's video. Today we try to play the DHCP server, and as always for our topology we try to set our Windows Server 2012 machine 0 as our DHCP server and our Win 10 as our DHCP client, which can get the IP address automatically from the server. Our IP address set for our server, I remember, is 4.10. Okay, so let's modify this. Let's say as 10. Okay, so today's topic is try to first we set the DHCP server's IP address pool. The range from 44.10 to 200, and after that we try to reserve one IP address, the 104, for the server in the future, and for the .100 we try to leave for the specific host. So after the first two steps we try to set our Win 10 as this host. Okay, so let's do it one by one. As always, we try to find out the host. So this is the Win 2012 machine number 0. The IP is 44.10. For our Windows, host name is the Win 10. IP config, let's just release it. Okay, let's just release the IP. And now, okay, so far we don't have IP. Okay, so far there's no IP for our Win 10. Okay, we can't get any IP. So you can see this one is just like the API. Okay, so let's work. How to set up our DNS server? We go to Manage, add row and features, and as always we go to DHCP. Add a row for the DHCP. Now we try to install this feature. Install this row at DHCP server. Okay, installation succeed on our host. And we can complete the configuration for the DHCP. Commit. Creating the security groups. Complete. Done. So after we create the security group, we should restart the service. It's here. So DHCP server, let's try to restart it. So to enable the DHCP experiment, you should make sure your two hosts you should make sure your two hosts, they're using the same bridge. Okay, for example, I connect use the same bridge, same as here. Bridge with the same network card. And then after I enable it, we can go to our administrative tool, choose DHCP. So this is our DHCP. Okay, this is our host. Right click that. Right click IPv4. We add a new scope. Okay, add a new scope. Let's say subnet 192.168.44. What is our range? Say 10 to 200. Okay. Say let's start with 0. The range is 126.44.10 to 200, right? 200. Conflict with existing scope. Oh, it's a conflict. Oh, I see. This is I made before the experiment. Let's delete it. Okay, so we can create a scope. Subnet. Down 0. So it's just a name. Okay, it's just a name. You can name whatever you want. And the range from 10 to 200. And we should write the reserve address for the server in the future. Let's say 104. Am I right? Yes, 104. Let's say until 105. Okay, we add this. This is the how long the host can list this IP address. By default, they are all set as 8 days. This is how do you want to configure the DNS and gateway. You can change later, or you can configure right now. Let's say the gateway. For the IP, for the DNS, if I click this, you can change it later, okay? Or you can give a new DNS. If you give a new DNS address, it will check this host is DNS or not, okay? But don't worry about it will says it's not the proper DNS server because it will not affect today's experiment. The WinBOS, the NetBIOS, NetBIOS Win server, we don't need to modify this. That's for the Win server, so we don't need to do this. Do we want to activate the scope now? Yes, please. Okay, now we activate the scope. So right now we can try to get IP address. Okay, now we get 100. I believe maybe we have the reservation here. No. Okay, anyway, we get 100. Okay, we get 100. It's supposed to get the first IP. Why we get 100? Because before the experiment, I just try to play with the reservation as 100, which is this one. So, but I can change it. Okay, let's say we change 150. Okay, let's try to change this 150. All right, so far we can get IP address, and we can take the a look. So this is our IP address from the DHCP server, gateway from the server, DHCP server has this IP, and DNS also based on what we set. All right. So until now, we complete the first two steps. Then how to make the reserved IP address for a specific host? For example, we can find out our IP, our MAC address. This is our MAC address, right? So let's say we create a text file, and let's record this MAC address. Here a tip, you can click here and press copy, and you can copy here. Okay, let's save it, and let's move this file to my DHCP server. Did I pronounce wrong? Okay, so logging. Let's go to the C. And user admin desktop. Let's post it here. Okay, so we have the file here. Let's try to add a reservation. Say right click, new reservation. We give the MAC address to this reservation. Let's say this is for our Win 10. Okay, we give a name. And as we mentioned, because so far the IP address is 100, let's make it as 150. Okay, as 150. We add it. Now we have the reservation as 150, but now it's inactive. Okay, so let's try to release it. Release the IP. Okay, so let's renew the IP. Where became this? Still inactive. Not supposed like this. Okay, now we release the renew. Okay, now it's working. Okay, now it's working. You can see now the IP address is 150. Okay, it's 150. So we can take a look all. So we have our IP address as we reserved. Okay, as we reserved. And we have our gateway from the setting, DHCP server from this host. Okay, from this host, which is for 4.10, and DNS server as we said. Okay, as we said from here. So now we complete the DHCP server demonstration with the reservation. Okay, which is reservation. So how to identify the machine? We use the MAC address to identify it, and we give the address for it. So we can check loop. Now is why is still inactive? Reload. Okay, now it's active. Okay, now it's active. Our reservation now is active. And for the Win 2012, we still have one more function as the filter. So filter will have allow and deny. Same idea. If you add a filter, you can give the specified MAC address to allow or deny the DHCP access. Okay, and allow is kind of like when we using the whitelist, which means we were only allowed the machine which this MAC address to get IP address, and all the other we don't allow them to get any IP. Denier is like the blacklist, which means we only don't allow this MAC address host get IP, and all the rest MAC address host, they can get their IP address. Okay. Alright, so that's the demonstration for the DHCP. I hope you can get this, and thank you for watching the video. Thank you for your time. Take care.